Welcome back to Me Being Cheap. This is an update on the gardens and the chickens. So this year Michael and I tried some hay bale gardening. I've never done this before, but basically you take your hay bales, you cure them using some fertilizer for a few weeks before you get ready to plant in them, then put potting soil on top, and then you plant in them directly. I actually have some soaker hoses routed, and they come over here and join in here, hook it up to a garden hose. We have a pump over here that we can use, and then over there we have some rain barrels, and we have an additional set of rain barrels on the other side of the shop. So for an update, we have cabbages growing over here, and these are Napa cabbages, and it looks like the bugs are starting to get these again, so I need to put something on them. And we have some other varieties of cabbage over here. Again, bugs are going to town on these. Supposedly onions prevent the bugs from getting on cabbages. I don't think that's helping, but we do have onions planted in between. And I want you guys to know that we are probably way behind many of you on the gardening. We had some seedlings started that died. We had gone on vacation. They got a little leggy and just didn't do too well. And then we had quite a bit of rain out here in the Midwest, so we had quite a bit of delays. So these onions were actually planted from sets, from the plants, and then these onions over here were planted from bulbs. I'm kind of curious to see what's going to do best. Again, we have cabbages over here, and they are getting kind of buggy again. We did have that under control, but looks like we're having some additional problems with them, so I'll get some spray on that. Michael made a spray out of some peppers and some garlic and some neem oil, and he used that, and then I think we ended up using some 7 Dust too. So between the two we had it under control, but looks like it's time to reapply. Over here on the trellis we have, not remember what these are. There were some climbing beans. They're pretty big, and they're just getting started. Have a trellis here. And then over here we have radishes, we have icicle, we have daikon, which are the Japanese radishes, regular radishes, and one other variety. They look like they're doing quite well. And over here we have an assortment of pepper plants, and we do have some peppers growing here. These are our chili red. These pepper plants right here are the only ones that we did not plant from our own seeds. These were purchased at Lowe's, and then there's a couple over there that also have the tags on them, but mostly all the plants out here were purchased or were planted from seed and from heirloom seeds. We have a couple varieties of carrots in here. We planted more carrots over here with the tomatoes because those are supposed to be complements to each other as far as protection from bugs and so forth. But over here I don't know, you can see a little bit of carrot plant in there. I just don't know that they're getting enough light like they need to. Anyway, we have several different varieties of tomatoes planted here. Mostly paste tomatoes for canning. And then we do have some tomatoes over here as well as some pepper plants. So that's it for the hay bale garden. It's been an interesting experiment. And then over here we planted horseradish with the potatoes because those are supposed to be complementary plants. Over there in the corner is horseradish. Oh, those squirrels are going to town over there. But something's going on with these potato plants, so I'm wondering if maybe you guys have some ideas. They're just not looking real healthy. We had 3 varieties. They seemed like they were doing well, and I don't know. Now they're looking kind of not so good. I'm not sure what's going on. I do need to get in here and weed this. But yeah, this horseradish over here is going crazy. It's pretty big. Alright. I'll show you this greenhouse right quick. This is another project for later this fall. This is my aquaponic greenhouse, but it's had some issues. These are the doors laying on its side, and Michael's gone in and framed in some wooden doors. These little panels here, they've become very brittle with age and with sunlight. We're going to redo all of this. This isn't being used right now, but hopefully get this set up where we can have fresh greens during the winter. Probably get rid of the gutters and this grow bed, and then the pond over there. I do have some goldfish in there to keep the mosquitoes down. But we're probably going to put in some reconfigure this whole thing, so that'll be another series. But yeah, we've got bushes and vines growing in here. We've got roof panels missing. It's a lot of work to do. And then walking over here, we have a quail over here. We have quail. And then that's our chicken that the other girls pick on, so we've got her in here with the baby chickens. And they're all over there hanging out. Those are the meat birds. I put a little swimming pool in here for them because it was getting pretty hot, and I was thinking they may like to cool off. I set them in there and they liked it, and then when they figured out they were wet, they didn't like it so much. So for those of you who have never seen quail eggs, that's about how big they are, right like that. So I've been getting between 8 and 10 of those a day. And over here, we've actually had to replant melons twice. I think we've got about 12 varieties of melons planted. But we've had to replant a couple times. Either they've gotten dried up or just didn't grow, or seeds got washed away or whatever. It's just been a really interesting garden season. But I can't even tell you. We have 12 different varieties. I'm guessing that one over there is a watermelon of some sort, along with that one and that one. And we have cucumbers over here. And then we have 3 varieties of corn. So this first one, that's kind of small. This is like a red, blood red, murder, blood, something red corn that's supposed to get like 10 feet tall. And I got these from a seed exchange. These seeds are a couple years old though, so not doing so well. And this one right here is the glass gem corn from Baker Creek. And this is supposed to make some really pretty looking pastel colored corn. And then over here we have the peaches and cream. And all this corn is looking really good. You know, they say if your corn is knee-high by the 4th of July, you're doing good, but this is past my knees. This is about at my waist. Okay, I've got more rain barrels over here. And looking over here, we've got varieties of squash and zucchinis. And again, we had to replant some. I don't know if the birds took the seeds or what have you, but each of these holes we had to go in and plant some more. We have some greens growing over here, and I honestly cannot remember the types I planted. Mustard, collard, and turnip. I'm guessing this one here is probably a turnip green because that looks like a turnip. But I think we're going to have some greens tonight. Some of these were growing outside the garden, so I think we're going to have this one and maybe that one. And then we got another plant down there too. Here we have okra, and in these little circles is supposed to be okra, but we're having to replant. Some of it did take off. We planted red okra, and then the standard green okra. The red okra is in the back. It did a little bit better, and the green okra is here in the front. I'm thinking these seeds may have been a little bit old, so we're going to have to replant that. And then we have beans here, several varieties, and we actually had several varieties over here, but again, we're going to have to replant. So it's been interesting this year. Alright, I'll show you this little watering system we have on these chickens. They kept knocking their waters over. So we have a 5-gallon bucket, and we have some of this hose that runs over here, and we've got these little watering cups. That was a quail crowing, a male crow. Got these little watering cups in here. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, the birds can peck at that and get a drink. Well, that's it for the update. Thanks for watching.